What they don't teach you about real history often begins with a simple realization: history is not just a collection of facts, it's a story shaped by people, power, and perspective. In school, we're usually given clean timelines, clear heroes, and obvious villains. Events seem organized, almost predictable. But real history is far more complex, filled with contradictions, missing pieces, and uncomfortable truths that don't always fit into neat narratives. The deeper you look, the more you begin to see that what's left out can be just as important as what's included. One of the biggest things rarely discussed is how history is written by those who win. When empires rise and fall, the victors often control the narrative. They decide which events are remembered and which are forgotten. For example, many ancient civilizations that were conquered left behind stories that were either destroyed or rewritten. This doesn't mean everything we know is false, but it does mean that history is often incomplete. There are voices that were silenced, entire cultures whose perspectives never made it into the official record. Another hidden layer of history is the role of propaganda. Governments and leaders have long understood the power of controlling information. During times of war, revolutions, or political change, stories are often shaped to influence public opinion. Facts can be exaggerated, minimized, or even completely altered. Over time, these versions of events can become accepted as truth. This is not just something from the distant past, it continues even in modern times, where media and information can be used to guide how people think and what they believe. There's also the myth of simplicity in historical events. In textbooks, major moments are often reduced to a few key causes and outcomes. But in reality, history is driven by countless factors: economic pressures, cultural shifts, personal ambitions, and random chance. Take any major event, and you'll find layers of complexity beneath the surface. Decisions made by individuals behind closed doors can have consequences that shape entire nations, yet those details are often left out because they don't fit the simplified version of the story. Another important truth is that history is constantly changing. New discoveries, whether through archaeology or newly uncovered documents, can challenge what we thought we knew. Lost cities are found, old assumptions are questioned, and forgotten stories come back to light. This means history is not fixed, it evolves as we learn more. What was once considered a fact can later be proven incomplete or even incorrect. This ongoing process reminds us that understanding the past is more like solving a puzzle than reading a finished book. Perhaps one of the most overlooked aspects is the human side of history. Behind every event are real people with emotions, fears, and motivations. These human elements are often overshadowed by dates and statistics. But when you focus on individuals, their struggles, decisions, and consequences, history becomes more relatable and real. It stops being distant and starts to feel connected to our present lives. In the end, what they don't teach you about real history is not necessarily hidden in secret vaults, it's often hidden in plain sight, between the lines of what we're told. It's in the questions we don't ask and the perspectives we don't explore. Real history is messy, complicated, and sometimes uncomfortable. But it's also more fascinating and meaningful because of that. When you begin to look beyond the surface, you realize that history isn't just about the past, it's a powerful force that continues to shape the world we live in today.